NAKBA. And the NAKBA day today, Israel continues its genocide. Israel continues its bombardment on Lebanon and Gaza, the West Bank. Shame! It continues to displace people from the West Bank. It continues ethnic cleansing in Gaza. It continues an attempted ethnic cleansing in Lebanon. Shame! And all of this wouldn't be possible if our government here didn't continue to unconditionally support the genocide. Shame! They continue to send weapons. They continue to send weapons, missiles, and the manufacturing of these weapons to the U.S. Shame! And they refuse to enact a two-way arms embargo in Israel. Shame! So as we stand here, we don't only protest Zionism. We don't only protest this genocide. We protest our complicity in this genocide. And we demand an arms embargo with Israel. So keep your voices loud and reiterate these demands. And afford groceries while people can't afford rent. He puts new funding in the military. Shame! So we're going to direct our shame at Carney and demand an arms embargo.
Everyone, we're taking over the street. Let's start the march.
8 years since the start of the NAKBA. 78 years ago, the Zionist militias, with the support of the British Empire and Western imperial forces, waged a genocidal ethnic cleansing campaign that killed tens of thousands of Palestinians and drove almost 1 million Palestinians out of their indigenous lands. This event made the establishment of the Zionist entity known as Israel possible. Shame! And for the last 78 years, Palestinians have been dispossessed. They have been displaced and stripped of our most basic human rights. Shame! For the last 78 years, Zionist criminals and fascists have been attempting to rewrite history and destroy our ties to our land. Shame! For 78 years, Palestinians watched as the world failed to deliver any justice. Shame! We've watched as they labeled us as a problem and expected us to wait silently for a solution that they had no intention of delivering. But the Palestinian people are not a nation of fools. We have known since the inception of Zionism and since the British Mandate, we have always known that we are not the problem. We have always known that the problem lies in the empires that salivate over maps of our region, seeking to exploit our labor and our resources in perpetuity. Shame! And the Palestinian people have always known the solution. From the illiterate farmer to the learned academic, we have always known the solution. The elderly midwives and the young students have always known the solution. The refugees in the camps and the prisoners in their cells have always known the solution. Because the solution is clear. It has always been and always will be resistance and revolution until total liberation. Until Zionism and imperialism is dismantled and expelled from the region, there can be no future for Palestinians, and there can be no future for the masses of the Arab and Muslim world. But make no mistake, while the NAKBA is a catastrophe that was inflicted directly upon the Palestinian people, it is not only them who suffer. While it started in 1948, it continues today in the form of the ongoing genocide in Gaza. It continues today in the occupation of Syria and Lebanon. And it continues today in the relentless bombardment of Iran and Yemen. Shame! The Zionist entity is only an outpost of U.S. empire and Western imperialism in the region. It is an expansionist colonial project that the U.S. empire needs to sustain its global dominance and extract Arab resources. Shame! A united Arab and Muslim world would not only threaten the U.S. and Western interests in the region, it would be able to topple the entire world order and bring an end to this era of white supremacy powered by the labor and resources of the global south. This is why they prop up these traitorous puppet regimes that exploit our people. This is why they orchestrate divisions and pit us against each other. And this is why they use genocidal violence against entire populations as soon as a resistance front presents even the smallest threat to the Zionist entity. Shame! And this is why Palestine is the political compass for so many people across the globe. It is because Palestine plays a central role in the global struggle against U.S. imperialism. More and more every day, the masses of the world are waking up and realizing how U.S. imperialism impacts every single one of us. While the UAE buys its weapons and technology from the U.S. and Israel, it uses them to plunder Sudan and destabilize Libya and Yemen. Shame! Zionist corporations and billionaires like Dan Gertler are orchestrating a genocide in the DRC and using child labor to steal its rare minerals. Shame! And as we all know, the US and Canada share intelligence and technology with the Zionist forces. They sell them weapons and train with them to learn how to better oppress the indigenous peoples of Turtle Island. Shame! This is why our unity is not just an opportunity. It is a necessity. Our role as Palestinians in the far diaspora and our role as allies to our struggle is to unite and to organize the masses towards objectives that materially impact the Zionist entity and work towards isolating Zionism to cut off the flow of support from Israel's imperialist allies. This is why we are here today, to make the following demands. Our first and most important demand is a complete end to Canadian complicity in Zionist war crimes. This means a complete and true arms embargo and sanctions on the Zionist entity. We cannot continue to allow our tax dollars to go towards more weapons and occupation and the desecration of sacred churches and mosques. Shame! Our second demand is the immediate release of all Palestinian prisoners who have been documented in facing torture and sexual violence and even summary executions. Shame! And our third demand is the immediate end to the illegal and brutal siege on the Gaza Strip and an end to the occupation of all Palestinian lands from the river to the sea. But let us be clear in this moment as we commemorate 78 years since the start of the NAKBA. Let us be clear as we use this opportunity to recommit ourselves to this struggle. This is, without any doubt, a tragic moment of setback. The Zionist entity has all but erased the ancient cities and villages of Gaza. Shame! Its annexation of the West Bank is well underway. Shame! And the lack of accountability that the Zionist entity is facing has further emboldened it and enabled it to expand its genocidal violence across the region. Shame! But the Palestinian people are not new to moments of tragedy or setback. The Palestinian people remain steadfast. They rebuild and they resist. The prisoners hold their heads high, and the mothers of martyrs rejoice as they bury their heroic sons. If this moment has not demoralized the Palestinian people, then we have no excuse to be demoralized. We do not have an excuse to stop showing up or to succumb to defeatism. So on this day, to commemorate 78 years of NAKBA, let us recommit ourselves to struggle and sacrifice and use these tragedies as fuel for our fire. Because we know without any doubt that empires never last. We also know that a people who are willing to sacrifice anything for freedom on their land cannot and will not be defeated. So let us stand together and let us keep our energy high and let us keep our voices loud and let us say together in one voice, the people.
8 years of struggle against occupation, we will begin our march with the Palestinian national anthem, Al-Qani, as sung by the Palestinian Youth Ensemble.
The Palestinian Youth Ensemble is a group of Palestinian and Arab youth coming together in resistance to the cultural erasure that Zionism and imperialism attempt to impose on our people. Art forms such as poetry and music have long been an integral part of the Palestinian culture, and our goal is to honor that. We believe that nurturing these connections to our culture and our language is yet another important role for us here in the diaspora. And as Arabs, we know that we must unite to struggle for the liberation of Palestine and the end of Zionist imperialists in our region. Our national anthem, anyone who knows the lyrics, please sing along with us and be loud.
Palestinian people in 1948, 78 years ago,
structured in a way that will forever be a subordinate and client state to imperialism. For 45 days, what kind of ceasefire is this? The majority of the towns in the south of Lebanon are being heavily bombarded daily, in addition to the aggression and assassinations all
financing. Using the genocide as cover for their crimes, the Zionist entity has been emboldened to expand further and further into Palestinian land in the West Bank. Now settlements are being built every day in record numbers, displacing Palestinians whose land was stolen, cutting off surrounding villages and cities from each other through checkpoints and walls. Shame! The expansion of settlements is not random. It is a coordinated strategic push by the Zionist entity to invade the West Bank, one small piece of land at a time. Their goal, as it was 78 years ago during the NAKBA, is to make the whole of Palestine unlivable for Palestinians so they can cleanse the land of its people. Shame! They strangle communities by surrounding them with settlements and checkpoints. In all but name, the West Bank has become a prison, like Gaza was before the genocide. This prison comes with regular incursions by the IRA, with soldiers breaking into homes in the dead of night to terrorize Palestinians. This belligerence extends beyond homes and land. It reaches the soul of Palestinian spiritual life. The Zionist entity has systematically targeted holy sites, understanding that to break a people, you must desecrate what they hold sacred. Shame! IWF soldiers have broken into and defiled mosques and churches alike, leaving no space untouched by their occupation. Al-Aqsa Mosque, one of the holiest sites in Islam, has been raided and shut down repeatedly in recent months. Shame! The Church of the Holy Sepulchre, sacred to Christians across the world, has faced the same. Shame! Worshippers who dare approach the grave to simply practice their faith have been beaten and detained. Shame! This is not incidental. This is not soldiers acting out of turn. This is a deliberate campaign to sever Palestinians from their history, their faith, and their identity. They know that a people stripped of their sacred spaces is a people being stripped of themselves. But what they fail to understand is that our connection to this land and to Al-Aqsa and to every stone of Jerusalem cannot be beaten out of us. Every raid, every closure, every worshiper trapped away in handcuffs is proof not of their power, but of their desperation. When these tactics don't work, the Zionist entity funds thugs and criminals to harass and attack Palestinians, burn their crops, and take their land. When Palestinians rightfully defend themselves, the IWF violently arrests them and takes them to prisons to be tortured and forgotten. Shame! Thousands of Palestinians, men, women, and children, held in detention facilities that have become synonymous with torture, humiliation, and now death. There donation from the back. So if you feel generous today, please donate to support the people of Gaza rebuild after the genocide. All right, everybody, please give it up for our next speaker, Ali.
السلام على فلسطين وعلى تراب فلسطين. السلام على بحرها ونهرها. السلام على فلسطين وشعبها، على نسائها وأطفالها، على رجالها وشيوخها. السلام عليهم يوم انتفضوا في ثورة البراق. السلام عليهم يوم هجروا وذبحوا في النكبة. السلام على فلسطين في الانتصار والانكسار. السلام على القدس عاصمتنا الأبدية. والسلام على غزة قلب فلسطين ونبضها. على مدار الأعوام الثلاثة الأخيرة ومنذ بداية الإبادة الجماعية يدور في ذهني أسئلة كثيرة، وأكثرها تكرارا: ماذا عن الأطفال الذين ولدوا في الإبادة ويعيشون في الخيام منذ عامين ونصف؟ هل يعرفون معنى الحياة؟ هل يعرفون معنى البيت والمدرسة؟ هل يعرفون شيئا غير طوابير الطعام والمياه والحمامات؟ بعد أشهر من الإبادة كنت أتحدث إلى جدتي التي تعيش في مخيم للاجئين في بيت لحم على بعد 20 كيلومتر من القرية التي تهجرنا منها، فقلت لها عما يدور في رأسي عن الأطفال الذين ولدوا في الخيام خلال الإبادة المستمرة في غزة وفلسطين، فأخبرتني أنها ولدت قبل عدة أسابيع من النكبة والتي تصادف ذكراها 78 هذه الأيام. وبعد 5 أشهر من إعلان الكيان احتل الصهاينة قريتنا وهجروا جميع أهل القرية والقرى المجاورة. قالت لي جدتي: لقد كنت في القمطة عندما هجرونا، والقمطة لمن لا يعرفها فهي القماش الذي يلف به الأطفال حديثي الولادة. وبدأت رحلة القهر والعذاب من خيمة لخيمة لتنتهي بمخيم للاجئين ل78 عاما. فإن ما نراه اليوم في الخيام وفي غزة ما هو إلا نسخة حديثة بل أشد بؤسا مما عاشته جدتي وجداتكم وأجدادكم. نحن أحفاد هذا الجيل الذي راهن الصهاينة أنهم سيكبرون ويموتون وبأن الصغار بعدهم سينسون. نحن الصغار الذين كبروا ولم ينسوا، بل نحن أشد تمسكا بالعودة إلى كل شبر من فلسطين. ولمن لا يعرف الشبر فهذا هو الشبر. نحن متمسكون بهذا الشبر وبفلسطين من نهرها لبحرها. نقف اليوم لنقول إنه لا حل إلا بعودة الحقوق لأصحابها، وإنه لا عودة إلا بالتحرير. قد نشعر بالانكسار أحيانا لعظمة التضحيات، لكننا نعلم أنه ومنذ العام 48 وعلى مدار 28,490 يوما لم يمر يوم ولا ساعة إلا وكان شعبنا مشتبكا مقاوما لأجل عودته لبلاده المغتصبة. ولأن الشعب الفلسطيني مؤمن بالعدالة فإنه شديد اليقين بأن الحق سيعود لأصحابه وبأننا سنعود إلى فلسطين. And as my cap says, let's make Israel Palestine again. Just now, Lebanon was born again. Shame. Husband is being born on a daily basis. Shame. We do not believe there's so called ceasefire. We believe only in one thing. After
dollars are going towards weapons and technology used in genocide. Shame! That is why we are here, to make a clear demand and apply pressure on our cities, on our politicians that claim to represent us. We are here to put pressure on them to enforce a true arms embargo and to place sanctions on the terrorist entity known as Israel.
As the Palestinian Youth Ensemble perform a song by the late Ahmed Qabood and his song Unadikum, which is a call out to our martyrs, that we will never forget our martyrs in Palestine, in Lebanon, in the region, in service of the liberation of Palestine. And we're performing this song here in the diaspora to show that no matter how many generations we are removed from our land, we will always remember our homes and villages in Palestine.
Not a conflict, not a war.
Not a conflict, not a war.
This is a genocide.
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 We want justice, you say how?
We want justice, you say how?
Arms embargo right now.
Arms embargo right now.
We want justice, you say how?
We want justice, you say how?
Arms embargo right now.
Arms embargo right now.
Arms embargo, arms embargo.
Arms embargo, arms embargo.
We demand an arms embargo.
We demand an arms embargo.
Arms embargo, arms embargo.
Arms embargo, arms embargo.
We demand an 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 arms embargo.
We want justice, you say how?
We want justice, you say how?
Arms embargo right now.
Arms embargo right now.
We want justice, you say how?
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 Arms embargo right now.
Arms embargo right now.
Arms embargo. Arms embargo now.
Arms embargo. Arms embargo now.
Arms embargo.
Arms embargo now. Arms embargo. Arms embargo now. Arms embargo. Arms embargo now. Arms embargo. Arms embargo now. Arms embargo. Arms embargo now. Arms embargo. Arms embargo now. Arms embargo. Arms embargo now. Free Palestine. Free Palestine.
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine.
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine.
The river to the sea!
From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free.
From the sea to the river!
From the sea to the river. Palestine will live forever.
Do you live in a I just love your bike and every time you see it. No, thank you.
Revolution on the street!
Revolution on the streets.
Hands off the Middle East!
Hands off the Middle East.
Revolution on the street!
Revolution on the streets.
hundreds of thousands of Palestinians from their own homes. It began with the belief that one people could build a state on top of another people's destruction. And that project continues today. But so does Palestinian resistance. So does Palestinian steadfastness. So does Palestinians' love for the land. And if all of us here are serious about standing with Palestine, then we must understand something important tonight. Our role is not just to show up to rallies. Rallies matter. Gathering matters. Filling the street matters. But solidarity cannot end when the microphones turn off and the crowds go home. As individuals and as a collective, we have a responsibility to impact the Zionist entity and the imperial system that sustains it, because this genocide is not happening in isolation. It is funded, armed, protected, and legitimized by governments and corporations across the imperial core, including right here in Canada. Shame! The bombs falling on Gaza are tied to weapon manufacturers. The surveillance technology tested on Palestinians are exported globally. The institutions profiting from occupation are deeply connected to our universities, our banks, our pensions, and our governments. And that means that we have the power. Our role here inside the imperial core is to heighten contradictions, to make businesses as usual impossible, to isolate Zionism politically, economically, academically, and culturally. To expose every institution that profits from Palestinian suffering, to force confrontation with the reality that this system depends on violence to sustain itself. And we are already seeing victories. We have seen students across the world rise up and force Palestine back into public conscience despite censorship and repression. We have watched encampments spread across campuses, breaking the silence institution tried to impose. We have seen workers refuse to handle weapon shipments. Artists, journalists, healthcare workers, educators, and organizers have risked career and safety to stand with Palestine. The occupation wanted Palestine to disappear quietly, but instead, millions across the globe are speaking the truth louder than ever before. So tonight, our responsibility is not to grieve. It is to transform grief into organized struggle. That means supporting boycott, divestment, and sanction campaigns. It means supporting the arms embargo campaign. It means demanding sanctions. Because Palestine has never been just a Palestinian issue. Palestine reveals the violence of the entire global order. And still, despite everything, Palestinians continue to teach the world what resistance looks like. In Gaza, people bury the dead bodies and still share food with their neighbors. Mothers mourn their children and still declare that Palestine will be free. Prisoners organize behind bars. Refugees carry keys to homes stolen generations ago because they refuse to surrender. The belief that return is inevitable. to fight alongside Palestinians.
On the cross for your sins, my friends. Become Christian, and then
Because history will remember this moment, and history will ask what each of us did while Gaza burned. So let our answer be, we organized, we resisted, we disrupted empire, we isolated Zionism, we stood with the Palestinian people, not only in words, but in action. Until the siege ends, until the occupation ends, until every prisoner is free, until every refugee returns home, until Palestine is liberated from the river to the sea.
Final chant to capture our central demand for being here today. Let us stand in our thousands and chant together. Say it loud and shake the ground. Yourselves, your voices are louder than ours. Make some noise. It is because of you, each and every one of you coming out, that this movement is still strong. And we must continue to build until we see the liberation of every inch of Palestine, from the river to the sea. We urge you all to please stay connected to this movement. You can follow us on Instagram at PYM Toronto. You can join a writing association, a writing group in your writing. You can join a university group. You can get involved in campaigns that are on a national scale. Please, because every single one of you as an individual may not be able to do much, but together we can topple an empire. So thank you again for coming out tonight. Thank you all for coming out and spending your Saturday afternoon with us. And for Palestine, we urge you all to disperse, and we urge you to stay connected to this movement. For those of you who are looking to pray Asr prayer, you can join us. We're going to be going to the Masjid Toronto, just down the street. On that note, thank all of you for coming out. Free Palestine, and we'll see you soon, inshallah.